and what are we going to do next? I think that's the
too many options.
Yeah, competing options.
That's true.
Yeah, right.
So you have to treat it like what uses the least calories to get the most resources in. Startup biology.
Yeah, startup biology. Yeah, this is. I think also, like, I don't want to start, but yeah, it's a good start for this conversation. How do we take small, meaningful steps for a big vision and not over-engineer it? I think that's really important for us because everybody's busy. And what's going to help all of us is big brand to build and some money. So how do we get there?
Yeah, find the low-hanging fruit to attack. It's an easy thing to say, a hard thing to do sometimes.
Hello.
Hi, Shira.
Ning, you're next.
Yeah, so yesterday I got really tipsy because I was being nostalgia. I plug in one of my old hard drives, and I saw my 5,000 list of songs that I downloaded in the past, and most of those songs are Japanese from animes. So I start to listen to some of them, and I just start to recall my childhood memories, my teenager, where I used to be so obsessed with animes and Japanese culture. Yeah, it's great to be back in time. I was so touched because I was also reminded of my dad. I mean, who is already gone. So last night I was just full of emotions thinking back about my childhood. That's me. Nico, check in.
Yeah, I'm very excited today actually because we have an important call with one protocol that we want to work with. They might also give us some funding, maybe some grant. So I'm really excited to talk with these guys. And yeah, yesterday it's been very, very busy, but I loved it. So yeah, going good.
Good. So you're happy.
Yes, motivated, and also very excited to talk to you guys. I'm really looking forward to the decisions we're gonna make today.
Martin.
Me, I'm still a nomad, but for the next 2 weeks, I'm not as much of a nomad. So looking forward also to this conversation, the Lens Protocol, a bit of Antler reunion. So maybe I can network and chat to people, see if somebody has some space or know something. Other than that, yeah, lots of things to do, little time to do it in. But that's startup life. That's life. I enjoy it. It keeps me out of trouble.
I'm gonna tell a short story about it, like 1 minute. Shira?
No idea what happened yesterday. I didn't sleep at night, so our baby woke up at 1:30 and I'm awake kind of ever since. So yeah, I'll be listening today.
Okay.
Where is our Wonder Boy? Where is Cosmin?
Yeah, I also opened the Google Meet just to see if he's popping in there. I texted every possible channel. Probably I don't know, missed it. So I think we're gonna start. Anyway, it's just a kickoff. So it's like
yeah.
So short story. Yesterday I spoke with Albert, and he he wants to collaborate with Workaround and run some kind of a, let's call it workshop, for example. And I told, like, and Ming talked about it, and on one hand, we are spread too thin. We're working a lot, really a lot. But we also want to give deeper experience for people. I have a deja vu. Oh, this is weird. And,
A glitch in the matrix.
Where's
Your
the cat?
face.
The cat is here. The cat is here.
It's funny, your face. Suddenly, eh? It's a deja vu. Amazing. Amazing.
So I like on the other end, like we want to give, you know, more experience, more product services, whatever we call it. But then, like, how do you do that? And should we open? It's from Utrecht, so do we open another branch? And it's like, no way. And then I don't know where it came from, but I thought really resourcefully. I told them, and that's what I sent you also, Nico, a text message. Let's build a landing page and say, bring 5 people, half a day workshop, open a waiting list, and present to our community and saying, hey, you can go to co-working, but you also can book Albert for half a day workshop. You get access to a Discord core channel. It's going to be one-on-one meeting also with Albert. And it's like 30% off for Workaround members. And this is the waiting list. We're going to start somewhere in July. Who wants to join? And the idea was like just to figure out where is the demand before we spreading. And I think it was, and by the way, he liked it, so he did it. He sent me an Eventbrite today. He copy paste our copy and he created a workshop.
What nice.
Yeah, and I think this is the beauty when you're very stretched, you become very, very creative. Because if I had time, yeah, let's build a workshop and go to Utrecht and we need to hire a space and, you know, very complicated. But that's okay. We just need a landing page just to tell a story and open up for a waiting list. And if you join the waiting list, you gotta get another 10% off just to show there is more in the community. And I can like do it like at least between 2 to 5 different workshops on different topics, from pitching to product marketing, I don't know, decision making, startup biology. So that was a very interesting conversation between all of us, because once you create this kind of workshop, basically I also thought about you guys like Troop. It can help to educate the market. You know,
Right.
like you build half a day or a day, like about your space, what are your opportunities, where the market is going, what do you see, what's the future, pure education. And then even you give one-on-one or something similar, or I don't know, discount, whatever you're doing. And that's like, and then Ming can create like YouTube videos, we can upload to a directory. And suddenly, wow, this is huge. So that was my, how can we utilize already what we are doing instead of doing something? Ming, are you praying?
The sun just came out.
Yeah, I'm joking. Anyway, so this is just, it's another, just to come back to we are stretched. And I think because we are stretched, having an hackathon is a great idea to move on, because then we can focus one day, boom, doing something, move on.
Yeah.
That was the initial idea. I'm just going to set up the conversation, and then we can do more random. The idea on Saturday is to bring us very close to get money from funds. Okay, that's it. Very simple. So I don't want to over-engineer the DAO, and let's keep it very, very simple. It's us. Nobody's going to come in the next few weeks, I guess. So how do we help ourselves to move fast? That's it. That's the whole idea. And the idea to get funds, we can split the work. I think Nico said it and said everyone will tackle something. So we need a website. We need a program and a Notion page, something solid, some kind of a value proposition, and to start doing and just to put it public, like, okay, this is the first hackathon. I mean, of course, we discuss the details, like who is it for, what's going to be there, and it's all about experimentation. Last sentence, when we and Ming started, we just went to the Vondel Park. We brought 2 chairs, and that was the 23rd of March. And then 25th, I think it was the first event, 7 people. So really going lean,
Yeah.
and put ourselves out there, bring something very valuable for our audience. But the whole idea is to get at least, let's say, from builder space builders, the 10,000.
Build space.
Yeah, build space. Yeah.
Did they come back to you, by the way?
No, I'm going to send an email right away after our call. So that's the direction. I think I want to be biased. Like, I want to think. I'm not. I always thinking, but I want to be biased to action, like small actions. Then over engineer, DAO and tokens, and like we can get lost in details. So that's the direction. I want to make this meeting regular, at least like to catch up, think, events, what are we doing, feedback, how can we, because in the end, we want to help each other. That's the whole idea. Yeah, so this is like setting up the ground. Let's give it another, I don't know, 15 minutes for feedback loop or add different ideas or questions that you might have. So I'm going to stop here.
I think I'm very curious about what each of you are good at. So then it's easy to know, like, okay, this is your domain. This is your domain. I'm going to ask you advice, and this is how I can see you fitting into the big picture. Currently, I do not know what is your skills, Nico or Martin. That's something I think we will find out over time, especially on Saturday when we start to build.
Yes. I can start. I think what I can bring to the table is mainly, I would say, so I've been in the Web3 space for quite some time now, so I think I know where to look for things, and yeah, like I think what I can bring to the table is everything related to Web3. So any type of resources to learn or to dive deep into something. We need some product that does something I can easily identify it and so on. So I think that's where my expertise lies. And
you are a curator and architect.
That's a that's a very high standard, but yes, I'd love to.
It's for me, I build things. I'm a tech guy as well, but yeah, more maybe on the back end, full stack side of life. It's yeah, I mean, I have multiple experience. I come from a trading environment as well. Also, like Nico, understand blockchain, but probably more from the technical side of things than the connectivity, people, what the protocols are. I mean, I can probably implement just about anything, but again, time and money and resource are always the question with those things. I also understand people reasonably well, and I just have a very good memory, and I've read a lot of things, so I like connecting dots. I like asking questions. That's, as Sharon knows, I can ask a lot of questions. I don't always expect the answers to come from other people. I like to figure out the answers. Yeah.
You are a philosopher builder.
Yeah, it's a good way of describing me. You could also call me a drunk at times. Sometimes that goes with philosophy, is you have to drink to kind of understand things. But yeah.
By the way, what I think we all share is highly, very high emotional intelligence. That's, I think, regardless of all the other stuff, because everybody brings something different, but it's a common shared, like it's really going deep into stuff, curiosity, high intelligence emotionally. I think this is the big, by the way, which I think this is our positioning, because when you see space builders, it's doers. Nobody talks about marketing. Nobody talks about go-to-market, storytelling, how you build a team, how do you raise money. So it's like, it's very low entry point, but it's very flat. The probability somebody is going to be successful by joining them, it's really low, because there are a lot of other skills that are important. And I think we are bringing the human aspect. And that's very different, especially in the early tech scene, when people are very techy and not see the bigger picture, like business model or go-to-market or people behavior. Or so this is, I think, a very unique space that we are creating. Any take from you guys, Nico, Shira, Martin, from what I said, like the direction for the next, I don't know, 2-3 weeks, especially Saturday, of course.
I'm big on, if we do stuff, experiment and maybe succeed, maybe fail, but you learn. We can sit and discuss things for 3 months, and then it becomes all theory. We need to see like some practice results.
Yep. But I'm curious to hear before we jump into that what. Well, it's a bit obvious, but I'd love to hear it from you guys. Like, what's your yeah? How do you see what you bring to the table?
So for me, I have an experience in full stack development, so I can do backend and front end coding. And right now I'm skilled in using Webflow to build websites really quickly using no-code tools. I think I have experience in storytelling, so writing copies and creating digital experiences. I'm also good with creating content. That's what I can bring to the table.
Yeah.
Also, you attract very interesting people, I will say. It's also a skill. Some of them a little bit weird, but in general, very interesting, different people. I think it is a skill. Definitely a skill.
It is good sometimes.
Yeah, like we are in a space that it's about a lot about imagination, creativity. So you need to be a little bit weird, otherwise it's going to be traditional. About me, yeah, I have background in engineering, but I'm not interested in data engineering. So we have. Hi, Cosmin. Sorry, we are in Zoom. If you go to Telegram, our channel.
I'm also very curious about what Cosmin brings to the table. I don't know anything about him. But he so connected to the US tech scene. It's like amazing.
Okay. Okay, bye. Okay, he was confused about the time or something, time zone. So I don't know. So he's joining. I will wait.
One's in a different time zone.
I don't know. No, I don't know. Different planet. Is metaverse time zone.
Hi guys, sorry I'm late. Yesterday he showed me on the app that, or I don't know, maybe I was mistaken, that it was at 10 and I've just joined.
No worries. We just kicked off, so just to what we did. I think, yeah, Ming was asking what everyone brings to the table. We spoke about being resourceful, so we want to move fast, quick, low kind of deep thinking and over engineer stuff, and really make it useful for first this group before we are going outside. And the whole idea is to bring us as close as possible to funding from grants or whatever, so we can self-sustain, So for example, Builderspace, they offer a grant if you open a program for Gen Z. Right. So if somebody is giving money for Gen Z, I'm in. Like, this is the direction. So we can look at different grants and maybe make decisions, but this is for Saturday. We're not going to do it today. Today is more like some kind of a kickoff. So that was like, that's what I said. So then we open it for discussion. But then Mings asked what everybody brings to the table. And Martin said a lot of engineering and philosophy. Nico, business, Web3, architect and knowledge, Ming, engineering, storytelling. And now it's my turn. So I gave you like, and what I said, we all share the we are very talented in emotional intelligence. Everyone here, like, we are not nerds that don't understand people. That's very unique, by the way. Of course, we have shared passions, but I think this is our unique value proposition to the market. We understand people in business and technology and storytelling together, and we understand it, even though maybe I'm not an expert in technology, I understand it. So I'm gonna say what I'm bringing to the table. You can ask questions and say what you bring to the table, what is your passion or whatever, and then Shiva. So for me, I think I'm very generalist. I can understand a lot of things, but my unique value proposition is complexity theory, which also deep involved in how you understand systems and people and future. And it's all about how you able to make predictions in an environment that keep changing. This is what's my interest. And Web3 is basically, it's also what I'm bringing to the table. Of course, storytelling and marketing, fine, but I think this is obvious that the uniqueness that I'm bringing is the science part of that I'm very interested. Yeah, your turn. Carsten.
Yeah. I would say that the main thing about me that I've always thought about myself is my native creativity. My friends call me, quote unquote, an idiot, because I've always had this brain for coming up with use cases or creative solutions to problems. So I would say this would be the main factor that has differentiated me throughout my life from most people. I think that's what I'm best at. But besides that, I think in Web3, I know the culture very well. I understand most of the concepts because I've been reading and learning and contributing to DAOs and communities in Web3 for a year now. And I'm a Gen Z. We need to apply for a grant, I guess. Yeah, I would say these are the main takeaways for me in this project, in my opinion.
Okay, I'm a designer, heart and soul, and mind, and creativity as well. I think same like you. People talk to me, and then I translate it to what can you do, how can you do it, and it goes very fast. So it's also kind of I understand you what you just said. So everything you need to translate, to create something, to design something, branding. Yeah, that's what I can do. And also facilitating and hosting and making pizzas.
Yeah, good pizzas.
Also female, we need females, and it's a different kind of perspective.
Yeah.
And Shira is really good in community building. She was in the how do you say? Scouts, not Boy Scouts. Scouts for many
Girl
years.
Scouts.
Yeah, they changed from Boy Scouts
You
to
too?
Scouts.
I was a Boy Scout, yeah.
Yeah, time ago.
And education in the army, and also she worked in catering for a few years. So that's hospitality. I think that's also important to understand.
The big mother for Gen Zs. Operation expert.
And another thing that I noticed in this conversation that like there is Shira is also the founding team of WebLab, by the way, and that we are all biased to do stuff like we are here without like, I know Nico for really briefly, but if you summarize how many hours we talked, probably it's like 3, 4. Like, so it's amazing how we are biased into do something together. I think also Cosmin, we just met. And Nico told me, I think he's a great guy. I called him and he's in. And also Martin, like and Ming also. Me and Ming met twice, and then he offered me to join the workaround. So we are biased, moved by, I think, intuition and not just over analyzing, and that's also rare. I don't know how you appreciate it, but it's really for entrepreneurs. People have a hard time to collaborate, to do stuff. They need to think. And this is a very unique space when we are here today. It didn't exist a few days ago. And on Saturday, we have the first Web Lab Workaround Hackathon ever. So that's a start, by the way. This is the first program. It's just us because we want to make it efficient and fast and to the point. But yeah, easily we can bring more people, but we don't know to do it right now. And I think that's amazing. After three events for Web3 that we are here, when we're forming a team and a vision and a direction. So this is another thing I want to say. So I'm going back to the original question. What's the direction in the next few days, weeks, I don't know what to call it, is to bring up, to be very efficient. So to keep all the conversation concrete to this team. So we don't think like very, very big, like tokens or DAOs with like or I don't know, like protocols. And the idea is to bring us as close as possible to raise money from funds or VCs or anybody's giving money for Web3 programs and create more collaboration. So this is the agenda for Saturday, to split into small groups and to build the assets and the programs and what we need in order to bring people to some kind of a program and eventually present it to people with some money so they can give us, and then we are self-sustained. We can also maybe pay ourselves a bit and build a brand and the network, which is the most important. I think brand and network is bigger than money in the end, because we are playing a long-term relationship. So this is basically, of course, it's coming from me. So I open it to quick discussion if you have anything to add or to change or or a different idea or a comment or a question. And Ming asked the question about what everybody brings to the table. So yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I think, yeah, to summarize, but also add a bit, the approach is right. If we split in groups in Saturday, to one group focuses on building kind of like a program kind of or timeline on what's going to happen more or less when, let's say, so also considering taking small steps and seeing, yeah, being very open to iterations. And then maybe another group can focus on, because I think the DAO part, I think it's very key to like formalize this organization, let's say, and also there's a lot of funding for DAOs and so on. So if we start already experimenting with that, I think that can, yeah, that can unify us, and then, yeah, give us kind of like a grounding point to start with. So how I see the DAO part is kind of like what is that will be the formalization of this thing that we're building, and that will be constant. And then another group can focus on kind of like the different or like the program and the timeline in the future, the coming months.
I think for me, it will be useful to know what is a reference. So for example, we want to be something like buildspace.so. We want to be something like Odyssey, DAO, whatever. It's good to know what is the reference so that I can picture in my head where we're heading.
Yeah, I think I agree with that a lot. I think the problem is the short-term or even short-term, long-term goals, to know exactly specifically what they are. Obviously, they can be big ones, or like vision-wise, they can be big. It doesn't have to be something that we need to reach, right? Because that's what vision is. But this will help. And I have also, I mean, I don't know if it helps, but I was also thinking about social DAOs. And one of them, for example, is friends with benefits. And the difference with friends with benefits is that they focus on culture, art, on preserving it, and I know getting together creatives to build stuff and to create art and so on, and to collaborate. So yeah, I would say that for a DAO, there needs to be a scope more than just creating the community in a DAO, but more of a, what is the shared values that we have, right? Yeah. Why are we here in the DAO? Why are we in the community, right? And see how we build towards fulfilling a vision that meets the values.
It's a mission statement, like just a basic thing. Okay, this is what we're having. That may change, like after Saturday, you realize, okay, our mission might change, but it's having something that you can weigh everything up against. Okay, is this getting us to point A? We need to get to point A. When we get to point A, we might realize, no, we need to actually be somewhere else. But it's kind of, I think that's what Nico was maybe talking about, and that is two things, like looking at short-term goals versus and long-term goals, and trying to make sure that we do something. I think for me, it's difficult to understand what the program's meant to be. And that's a definition, and that when Ming's talking about reference, I think to me is also kind of having some understanding, like, of what we're trying to either replicate, build, understand, move forward to.
And I mean, if sorry, and I'll let you. If we don't know exactly the direction, the community will not know the direction. Sorry.
Yeah, and I don't know if we want to start discussing this already, but I have a few ideas, and I think, of course, all based on the discussions that we've had with Sharon, mainly. How I see Web Lab is really kind of like a place where people can come and experiment in Web3. And what this means is, so Web3 is a lot about community. So I think Web Lab should be a place where people can create things that are connected to Web3, and they don't necessarily need to be, as you say, like an app or a DAO or a protocol. It can be a community, for example, or, and I think maybe that's because I was thinking, okay, Web Lab, we can be kind of like a venture builder, a startup studio. That's something that Sharon mentioned, which is really attractive. But I think that's still a bit of a Web2 focus. I think if we kind of rebrand this, in the end, it's all about language, to something like a community studio or like community builder kind of thing, where, okay, you come here to build your community. It can be around a product that you want to build, and you also build the product, or it can be around a topic, I don't know, marketing for DAOs or attracting people for DAOs, and you create a community around that. Like anything that is connected to Web3, which is community, I think that's, for me, that's an idea that is very novel, and yeah, very, very related to what we've been doing for now, until now.
I'm sorry, but I disagree a bit with that, because I'm part of a DAO called Stakeboard DAO that I'm very passionate about, because it's from my home country, and the people are great, the community is great, but the bootstrapping team, the founders, have created it for the sole reason of creating a Web3 DAO, and it has been incredibly difficult for people to understand what direction to take, and eventually it got to a point when they needed to find not necessarily a niche, but a direction, which for them is education. I think it's too broad to think that, I mean, a DAO should still be a company. You wouldn't create a company and say just build whatever, like I don't know, in banking, and just build whatever in banking, right? Or any industry whatsoever. So this is my take on how this should happen. I think over time maybe branches could open in different areas, but we either start with a vision of getting to the point where like I don't know, we can build all Web3 projects, but we start with a direct education, or I don't know, something, and then we build multiple branches, or we just focus on one, like again, Friends with Benefits, as they focus on culture, music, like art. They have their own kind of niche where people can join and see if they can contribute, because it's totally different to contribute in art than to contribute in DeFi, for example. Different skills needed, right? And people need to understand if and how they can contribute from the get-go.
Isn't that our niche becoming, or could be taking a vision into a startup, into a reality? That could be our niche. So like that's the experimentation of it. It's so we're more business focused rather than when I say business focused, maybe with a more kind of social aspect, community, Web3 kind of funding, not just like a VC, you bring the idea, we'll spend money and grow it. It's a storytelling, you're bringing those kind of skills in it. Is it taking a vision, into making it reality, connecting the dots for people? I don't know. Again, I'm good at asking questions. I don't always know the answers.
I think so.
I think what you're saying is important. Yes, you don't want to say, okay, bring us your problems, we'll solve them. It's kind of like, this is what we're solving. We're taking somebody who wants to take something abstract and make it concrete. We'll help you through the process, but make it Web3 specific. So make it more social, make it more creator content. Make it more new age, not new age in terms of esoterics, but in terms of like YouTube, Twitch. So it's entertainment based, maybe. Because as Elon,
sorry,
I was going to say, as Elon Musk says, the most entertaining outcome is the inevitable one.
The most likely one.
Yeah, thank you.
Agree.
Yeah. I think indeed it's very important to be focused, like Cosmin. It's very key, but at this point I think we're kind of experimenting ourselves, so we have to remain open a little bit to what the market or what the outside world is telling us. Okay, like I think that's what the history of Workaround Web Lab has been, of just kind of reacting to responses and adapting to that, and being fluid and going in that direction. And I think that's what we can build, like a place where anybody can come and experiment. Okay, and this is also based on an idea that Sharon had. Whatever Web 2 idea you had, you can bring it here, and like we will help you understand how you can modify it to Web 3, like to create a community around it, and to maybe implement some of the features.
So is it an accelerator of some sort? Is this the direction we're going towards?
Maybe I will add, I think the better explanation is a sense of direction and not a direction, because there's a lot of unknowns. Once you commit, you're wrong in startups, like you don't understand the market yet. I will say, let's start something we really deeply care. So it's very authentic. Like you look at Amsterdam right now and you know what's happening. You look at the DAOs and say, okay, if I want to do this, can I do that somewhere? No. Okay, I really want to do it. Can we do it here? While moving very authentically, we realize what we're gonna do. And I think what Nico is proposing is like a direction, and not like a very clear. And in the future could be 3 months, can be a month. Say, no, we're gonna do is exactly that, because this is, Gen Z, social, I don't know. But the space should be very experimental. Like what's working, what's missing. It's more like discovery. We're in discovery mode, not in execution mode. Once you have a signal, like it's exactly like Warground started, like it was general. And the events in the beginning were for marketing, not like for creating a community. And I realized, okay, people really want to connect. And then I said to Ming, I don't know, I met Nico, said, let's build a Web3 community. So, okay, let's try. And so it was like learning by doing instead of like, okay, I'm going to build a Web3. I know what's going to happen because I don't know. I really don't know. So I think what's happening here is we are talking with each other and we say, okay, this is interesting. Let's do that. Let's see what happens. Because this is also going to be easy for us. You don't need motivation. Nobody's going to tell you what to do. You are intrinsically doing what you really deeply care. And maybe a great proposal, everyone can bring his own like thing and saying, this is where I want to do like in the next 2 weeks. You know, what do you propose? The general agenda of Web Lab is like Web3 projects to learn. That was the spirit, and we started this. I totally agree. If you want to get commercial, you need to go niche to serve a very specific audience and give them value that they cannot get anywhere else. And we're already there because we are offering an offline experience in a totally online domain. And we are creating a DAO. Nobody in Amsterdam bringing people with a DAO and a program. And like, we're already doing something unique. And I agree with you, Cosmin, we need to be more like, it's I think Martin helped me here, diversion and conversion. Like you started broad and then you.
Yeah, that's it. Diversion and conversion,
Yeah. So that's what we are here, right? And then we will figure out something. We see a signal in the market and then we go niche. Still, I will say, I rather to experiment something that I know there is resource out there or is demand. Let's say somebody's going to give a grant for Gen Z. You're a Gen Z. This is authentic. I'm not Gen Z. I'm not like this. I'm not going to build something I don't understand. So it's like kind of a chicken in the egg. We're going to start with the end result, which is resource, because otherwise we're going to die. But we're also very open. So it's a conflicting. This is stars, by the way. I told it to Ming this is my perspective. To be a founder, and that's what we're doing right now, you're holding two opposite ideas in your head, but you're still moving on. That's really hard for people. And the uncertainty is like, is it right? Is it wrong? Like, should we go there? No, there's argument both, right? Because it's not scientific. So we're holding two ideas. We need to go specific, but we're in discovery mode. It's like, we need money, but we need to go discovery mode. Like this is, so it's like swimming and realize where is the food.
I agree. Then can we, I don't know, maybe just focus on creating the community and just see this as our short-term goal and unifying all Amsterdam crypto builders or something like that, and just start from there, I guess. Something similar to this.
I think it could be a proposal. And if we have like 6-10, we can vote and start somewhere and always can go back and say, we were wrong. No, we need a different kind of, because it's all about the team. Yeah. It's not about, it's the spirit, and we will figure it out. I've seen it a few times, so I trust the people.
And from what I understand is like the Saturday thing is kind of, we taking Web Labs, Workaround, and maybe Troop, like those kind of ideas. We look at how can we get them from the vision community and build it. We're trying to do that. So we're doing concrete kind of things for that, which we hope to generalize in the future. And if we make mistakes with those, then it's how do you get the idea out there, finding out who's available, whose doors can we knock on, whose money can we use to build this kind of thing, and be able to take that experience and knowledge and bring it through to somebody else. So yes, it is an accelerator, but at the moment it's a personal accelerator. It's our ideas. It's Web Labs 3, and it's, if we don't succeed, then there's no point in us doing it for somebody else. If we succeed and do it very well, then okay, And that's a Web3 kind of idea. It's like, how can we share the information? Not like, let's keep the information to ourselves and how much money can we make? It's like let's share it. So let's get value for other people. But first we need to get value for ourselves, or do we build the community first?
We just started the accelerator, but this conversation, this kind of sharing and perspective, how do you bring people together when nobody gets paid right now? And there are competing agenda, because I have kids in startup, Nico and Martin has a startup, Shira has some kids, and also other clients. Everyone has his own thing, right? So how do we collaborate together? It's also part of the learning that we will share, and we'll experiment what works. I agree, we need a direction. We can choose one, because I don't care about like, it should be specific. It's a spirit that helps us. And then can we build, like, take a Lego piece, put it in the world, in the language of complexity, it's called attractor. Let's attract people to this point, focal point. Do they care? Do they want to collaborate? The right people? No. Okay, let's kill it. So if you create one like half a day, I don't know, a weekend, right? A night. That's the direction. But we need to get focused. I totally agree. Otherwise, we spread too thin.
Right, and I think it's also so talking about the low-hanging fruit. I think our low-hanging fruit right now is build space. So we were in contact with them. They seemed pretty excited to work with us. We can kind of create our first experience or program to attract people to the community through build space and through the nights and weekends thing, organize it for them here in Amsterdam. And maybe well, I'm already starting to think about like maybe the program, but yeah, make it a learning experience, for example, as well, because it's what people are looking for to learn about this space. And so the low, in my opinion, the low-hanging fruits are these, like nights and weekends by build space, and also like this grant for Gen Z hackathon, also by build space. And it's completely in line with our grander vision, I believe. So if we just take these low-hanging fruits and work around that, see what's the outcome of there, and then iterate again and say, okay, this is what came out of it. Let's go in that direction. I think it seems very natural to me.
I agree.
I want to clarify. So, Cosmin, you mentioned that you have an experience in this DAO called Friends with Whatever, and you saw that they started initially something general, and you have a feeling that they are wasting a lot of resources in this general space, and then eventually they found a niche. So you're saying that based on the experience, it's better that we start niche so that we don't waste the same time like the Friends with Benefit did. That's your suggestion, right?
It's not the Friends with Benefits. That's another one. It's Steakborg DAO, but generally, it's not necessarily niche. I think Spirit could work, but just, you know, the Spirit needs to be, I would say, I don't know, community building, education, Web3, a bit, not just Web3 and everything, because Web3 is very huge. It's incredibly huge with everything that's going on and all the parts that are in there. So I think this just gets confusing. But again, if it's only about us, the team, we will know internally what's the vibe, what's happening. So that's good. The main problem is when we try to translate this to the community, because they will not be as present. They will need to understand from the get-go what's the point, what's their point in the community, what are they doing in the community, right? So this is when things get complicated, when you're actually counting on people from the community to contribute, because they're going to be there for, I don't know, maybe an hour a day, maybe, right? And they need to understand clearly what's their take on everything, right?
Okay, so just to rephrase or clarify that, so it means that if we get members to join our DAO, and if the sense of direction is not niche or specific enough, people get confused, and then we are not getting the contribution that we really want from them.
Yeah, that's only when we want them to build. If we just want them to attend stuff or come or whatever, that's fine. But if we want them to contribute, actively contribute, in my experience, in what I've seen, this is a problem, because some of the biggest DAOs with billions of dollars and with hundreds of thousands of people have very low contribution. And I think this is also what we're tackling here with physical connection, because I think this will also prove to solve some of these issues, because people will connect more and will build more rather than just going online, but also having, you know, a clearer idea for them, or products or services or whatever we're working towards, will also help, because generally it's a confusing space, and yeah, it's confusing to get on Discord and understand the onboarding experience and all that.
Okay, it's clear now. But I think that the question here is that we don't know what the Amsterdam people actually, what is that vision that will actually get them to build. So that's why we need to diverge.
Yeah, but in the end, the program will be very concrete.
Mm.
Like the first one, you can't,
Yeah.
we are looking, let's say I'm making it up right now. We want to build, I don't know, Airbnb, like decentralized Airbnb. It's going to be a hackathon. The thing is to come to learn, to meet people through experimentation. Okay. So in the end, you will meet people, you have fun, and you will learn more, and you need to pitch. So we will spread out to 3 teams, 4 teams, and you will pitch your idea. I just made it up. Okay. That's what I want to do. Now, people don't need to understand what is Web Lab. I don't care about, like, you come to experiment something like a micro day, hour, or I don't know, whatever it is. Another deja vu. By the way, this is how Reddit started, guys. Bunch of experimentation, and then they build a program around it, like to Reddit people to experiment and stuff.
Exactly.
So I'm biased to action. We don't need to explain to the world every detail. It should be, we are running hackathons. That's it. You come and learn and meet, and we have different themes. Let's start with one. So I agree that the focal point when you meet and come, should be concrete, not like Web3. Web3 what? Like what I'm going to do here. So there is a detach between WebLab and the execution mode. The execution mode be very concrete. WebLab needs to learn which kind of threads are the most beneficial for the community and for us. And focusing on programs, let's call it a program for now, that we can also get fund, right? And that requires a little bit of research, like what is out there and what's super unique, what is our positioning and differentiation in the market. So for us from Build Space, we'll say, wow, guys, this is super cool. Yeah, get the money, you know, this is the kind of energy. And if we create, I don't know, one, 2 events, record, build a website, nice videos, exactly what Ming is doing, this is our way to raise money or funds or whatever it's called. So I agree, the execution is focused, cannot be come Web3. It's not going to happen.
Definitely.
But it doesn't mean WebLab is committed to this thread. That's what I mean. There is this, right?
I mean, once it becomes a DAO and we want people to build, we're opening the business. So like everyone will be in the business. So at that point, we can't say that only the activities need to be like they need to understand only the activities. They need to understand the whole ecosystem. I agree.
But until then,
until then, I would say let's
by the way, also learn ourselves, right? Like while collaborating here, we are building the DAO. So the DAO will take time. That's the, let's say, midterm strategy. The short term, let's create a movie night, co-working day, and 2 hackathons for 2 nights. And if we collaborate with Build Space, so we are part of their program, so we can use, I don't know, this is like the direction. So I'm going to send an email right now to this guy. What is his name? Faraj, I think. And probably he's going to get back to me and we will see.
So we are going to build a Web2, Web3 lab, right? Execution is Web2. It's not like we are building a DAO to build programs. We're still building a Web2 to build programs, correct? Yeah.
I think we can say so.
Yeah, it all starts from centralization anyway.
Yes. Okay. So it's clear. We're not really building a DAO. We're thinking
we are making steps.
Yes.
So if I were to synthesize it, what we just spoke is we will yeah, we can even call it a DAO, but maybe it's a private DAO at the beginning. We won't make this DAO public and accessible for the community. It's just kind of like to set up what we're gonna do, and then the first things that we're gonna do is these build space events, the sprint, the 6-week sprint, and the Gen Z hackathon, let's say, and based on what we learn from this, from bringing the local community of Web3 builders together in this space, we will see in which direction we will be going, and based on that, we will make the decision and slowly start opening it up in that direction. That's how I understood.
Even if we create the DAO now, or when we will create the DAO, there will still need to be a lot of input and effort from the team side to actually get people going and to get the DAO going. Until people actually just understand the vibe and they contribute themselves, and you can leave it in their hands. But this takes time, so it's from complete centralization to complete decentralization. But yeah, this takes time. So
Cool.
It's, for me, like there's a saying, it takes a village to raise a baby. Now we have some babies and we have a village that is us to start with. We're trying to define what is the village and how's it going to grow. Can we create other villages? We're also trying to figure out what the babies are. What is Web3? What is kind of come out there? We're trying to almost go back to the traditional kind of community mindset that it takes a lot of us to raise things. And it's a process, figuring out what can the village add, what should the village add, what does the baby need. I mean, as Sharon and Shira know, kids are, you don't know what to expect, so you have to learn, you have to improvise, and that's what we're going to be doing in the next few weeks, days.
Yeah,
It's all a game.
So it's an expectation for me that it might take months before we actually become decentralized.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
Maybe not. I think this is the biased part. Like, we are biased to action, and you don't know what's going to happen, because tomorrow somebody's going to call you and say, guys, okay, I love what you're doing. Like, take $1 million. I don't know. It's like, I'm very open to the universe to see what really works, instead of like having a clear expectations of the future. Right now, our agenda is to build a program to define how do we collaborate. Very simple, very quick, not too much engineering, make baby steps, and to have a definition where can we get funds. That's it. And then every week we'll make another baby steps.
and we need to research how we can get funds for DAOs too, because maybe that will be an idea to move slowly towards the idea of creating a DAO. I would say this would be our main first goal, the DAO. If we're talking about community and gathering people, it will be actually to give the power in the hands of the community, right? So I'm not saying it's a 1 month thing, a 3 month thing. I have no clue, but all I'm saying is that maybe these steps need to go towards this goal of creating the DAO, right? At some point.
I think what you just said is super true. If tomorrow you realize there is somebody is willing to give money to DAOs that run programs, guys, we need to focus more on creating the DAO. Amen. Like, because it makes sense. So it's all about signal detections, like what works, what do we think it's better for the market, for money, for us. It's like to be very open, but very intelligent. Like, we need to commit, do something and see what happens. But I agree. This is part of the experimentation, let's call it. Yeah, evolution, I think it's a good word. Evolution. Shira, do you want to add something? Because you're the only one who didn't talk. I want to give everyone space.
No, I'm mainly listening to understand this world, and I'll see where I can contribute later. Yeah. Also, I'm tired.
Understood.
Well, if you've been up since 1:30 chasing kids, don't blame you.
Yeah. Okay.
Nico, like quick round, I think, and then we finalize, because we need to get shit done, and you guys have a presentation today. Ming, start.
What? Wrap up or what?
No, just something you want to
Oh,
say?
I love the energy of this six human beings on this call. I'm very excited to take action. So I'm going to read all the reference that Nico and Cosmin sent me, because I really need to get up to speed. I don't know anything about Web3.
That's the best way to start.
So that's my action.
Not knowing about Web3 might be a good thing. I think if you have understanding of like traditional cultures as well, we need to bring that into Web3. So not
create a bubble.
Yeah,
true. Agree. Nico?
Yeah, also like very excited by the energy of the group. It's yeah, I'm really looking forward. And for me, although it may seem, I don't know, for unclear or a bit vague, for me I understand what the next steps are, and I understand, yeah, like how it works with iterating and being open to signals. So yeah, for me it's very clear what the next steps forward are, and yeah, I'm very excited for Saturday.
Yeah, I think the heart of this project is in the right place, and you know, maybe as you said, it's a bit ambiguous, but it's kind of clear, like the feelings are kind of clear, if that makes any sense. Yeah, I mean, I'm hopeful to create something that can get the people who are interested in or involved in this space together here in Amsterdam, because I feel like it's because every DAO is global and they try to localize it. I think it's so complicated to actually create connections with people and meet with them and think alike and so on. So yeah, maybe this will solve this, and we can actually meet people who are more like us, who we can get value from, and they from us, and so on, right? So yeah, I'm excited about this.
Yeah, for me it's an interesting experiment. I'm looking forward to seeing where it ends up. I'm also interested in seeing the money eventually, but that goes without saying. Yeah, it's a playful energy that we have somehow, which is fun.
There's a great article that I read a few days ago. What's the difference between sharing economy and access economy? I'm not going to open up. It's super fascinating. But a real sharing economy brings conflict, compromise, and micro ownership. And that's where we are. Because we are different, we need to respect it. We have different cultures also. We are very, very diverse. Yeah. And it's all about building the trust between us and the team spirit, and to respect each other's different opinions, and very healthy communication. That's what works. Like VC call it team, and team. But if you ask them what does it mean, like team, and team, it's like bullshit, bullshit, because they never worked in a team. They came from banking. But that's another conversation. So I think this is for me, and I just realized maybe we should hang out also, like just to go somewhere and have a drink all together, just to have some fun. That's what builds, like we did it on Friday, me, Nico, and Ming. It was very spontaneous after the movie night. So also build this kind of, I think local is critical. It's not like important, it's critical. And to really know people and also have different kind of interaction with them is important, not just work or discuss or to do, like something very holistic, which is basically work on. So I think on Saturday, we also will schedule something like a fun gathering, just to go somewhere and to hang out.
Sure.
Yeah, and I'm super excited. Like, this is fucking awesome.
Yes.
Shira?
Nice.
Yeah.
Something you want to add? Or are you just tired?
Not today.
Not today. Okay, so Saturday, our place if you want to bring some ideas concrete, because I'm going to work on some, or funds, Mingle started working on a website in Notion. So the end result will be, okay, we can start something small, but that's the idea. And review all our initiatives, because there is like overlap between Workground, Web Lab, everything is like a mix right now. So maybe doing a little bit order.
And are we focusing on the Gen Z agenda thing?
Could be.
Could
So
be?
I think we need to choose like one and say, okay, let's do it. And also probably build space, maybe change our perspective if they say yes. So that's another thing to remember.
Yeah, okay. Because I've got some ideas for that as well.
Okay, so start writing and we will vote and say, okay, let's execute the most efficient, cheap thing to test that we would love to do. That's the idea. That's it.
Amazing.
Okay, guys.
To the future.
To the future.
To the future and
See you
beyond.
soon. Yeah. Enjoy. Take care.
Have a good day.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
See you
Get some
Saturday.
sleep
Bye-bye.
if you can.
Sure.
Thanks. Bye.